Through the laughter and the lessons, the bonds we hold, alumni shining bright under stars so blessed, with memories alive in the best of the West. Oh, the voices come together, a podcast so fine, telling tales of yesterday, crossing every line, with a jazzy kind of rhythm and a spark in their quest. It's the best in the West, we must confess. Late nights cramming or dreaming so tall, echoing footsteps down the old school hall. Friendships carved in stone stand the test of time, like the beat of a heart in sync and rhyme. Oh, the voices come together, a podcast so fine, telling tales of yesterday, crossing every line, with a jazzy kind of rhythm and a spark in their quest. It's the best in the West, we must confess. Time moves along, but the stories stay bright. Threads of laughter weave the day and night. Normandy's echoes beat strong in our chest. Forever we're tied to the best in the West. Oh, the voices come together, a podcast so fine, telling tales of yesterday, crossing every line, with a jazzy kind of rhythm and a spark in their quest. It's the best in the West, we must confess. We must confess. Normandy's echoes beat strong in our chest. Forever we're tied to the best in the West.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Hey, what's going on? Happy spring break to everyone. Man, listen, we're out here in these spring break streets just enjoying the day. Today, I believe, is March 30th. So happy March 30th to you. I believe people have renamed the date Happy Farm Workers Day. So if you don't know, you should probably figure out what's going on as it relates to the switch from the Cesar Chavez Day to the Farm Workers Day. But in any event, I'm glad to be here. It's been some time that we've been live in the studio, and so I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, said my prayers, ate my vegetables and my vitamins, and I'm hoping that everything is going to work out fine tonight for tonight's episode of NCS Best in the West podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Riley, and a class of, man, what class is that? Oh, 1980, class of 1980. Let me hit this button. I think it works. All right, you should have heard the air horn. But tonight, we have another wonderful guest, another wonderful person who walked the halls of NCS way back in the day. And, you know, we kind of refer to her as the original Michelee. That's right, not the one with the squeaky voice way back that Dr. Dre made famous. No. I knew a Michelee way back in the day before that singer probably was even born. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into it. If you can, go ahead and share the feed with someone. We are live actually exclusively tonight on YouTube. we went over to the Facebook, and the Facebook was not Facebooking. So we just said, hey, we're going to leave it on the NCS Best in the West podcast, and we might even be simultaneously live streaming on my personal YouTube channel, Mr. Riley's World. So if that is the case, if you're watching from either place, welcome to this episode. Okay, so tonight, again, we're going to welcome Miss Michelee Smith, and I think I might have a small introduction for her. She attended back in the mid to late 1970s. Her parents, her mom was educator at NCS, and she had some wonderful times at that wonderful place. And so without further ado, we're going to welcome Michelee, Elyse, and hey, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. How y'all doing out there?
There you go. There you go. Now, I'm hoping, I know during the live run through, I thought we had some feedback, but I've done everything that I hope was necessary to eliminate the feedback. So,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, well, you're sounding good, and welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is awesome.
Hey, I'm excited to have you here, and it's going to be a wonderful time sharing a lot of information and walking down memory lane as, you know, we kind of reminisce about the wonderful place that is, still is.
That brought us all together.
Brought us all together here today, Normandy Christian School. So let's go ahead and hop into this thing. First of all, tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, and kind of what you're currently doing right now.
Sure. My name is Michelee Elyse. I am an educator. I've been teaching since 1995, and I currently teach visual and performing arts, specifically dance and media arts, at a local school district, and I teach at the elementary level. So actually, most of my dance skills and performing arts skills were taught to me by my mother, Carolyn Smith, back in those early days. I'm also an author and public speaker, MC, thanks to my brother over there. I never even thought about doing that. Sometimes you need somebody to see something in you that you can't even see in yourself. I be doing all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I might even be called too much, but I'm okay with that.
Hey, shout out for doing too much. Now, who was that brother that encouraged you to do, you said writing? Who encouraged you?
No, it was MCing.
MCing.
It was Mr. Darren Hudson, my very, very good brother. I never even considered doing that, but that's a place to funnel my too muchness, use my power for the people. You know what I'm saying? Let the people have the power. And actually, I've done so much with that since he saw that light in me that I didn't even see in myself. I narrated a play, and it was so interesting. I narrated the entire play sitting on the stage. I thought I would be backstage, but I was on the play. The name of the play was God is Watching You. And so that was pretty amazing. And I've emceed quite a few other events just because my brother over here saw something in me that I didn't see.
All right. Shout out to El Presidente.
El Presidente.
You know, Darren Hudson is in the house. I'll give you a little shout out.
He do be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so we are triggering, and so let me kind of let the folks know just some behind the scenes, and then we'll go ahead and move along into the interview. So I did move around some things, and I'm hoping that all of my triggers on my audio device are triggering tonight, if you will. So if you hear that air horn when I hit it, I'm hoping that it's working the way it should. But in any event, I am glad that you're here. I'm glad that he introduced you or kind of gave you the inspiration to become an MC.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and hop into this. Now, you attended Normandy Christian School in the mid to late 70s, right?
That's correct.
Take us back into time. What do you remember? Some of the things, what do you remember about your experience at Normandy Christian School?
Okay, so interestingly, the way that I'm sitting right now, the vantage is of the hallway. So I didn't just attend Normandy Christian School, I also attended Normandy Church of Christ. And my grandmother was very, very active there. Her name was Evelyn Smalley, and my aunt, Sabra Folsom, attended church there as well as my mother, Carolyn Smith. And coming back to this hallway, one day we were at church and it was time to go to Sunday school. And Sunday school was upstairs, much like this building is. And I was running late. And I never ran late again because as soon as I hit that door, somebody opened it and I landed flat on my back. You know the cartoons where you see stars?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on church on a Sunday morning.
Was that you? Did you see stars?
I saw stars, brother. I saw stars. I saw stars. No, but there were some other interesting things. I think this was a place that my mother could really explore her creativity. And she made me into a creative powerhouse, actually. With the Twirllettes, I remember performing in a parade that hurt my feet. Oh my goodness, my feet were hurting so bad after that. And then there also was a doll party. One day she had all the little girls to bring their dolls and we all had a party. She also put on some amazing performances and fashion shows.
Okay.
So all of this really solidified some of my friendships with some of the people that attended here, including you. I remember you as a little boy. You were one of my best friends.
Absolutely.
For some reason, I don't know what it was with the girls, and I ain't trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be negative.
Yeah.
But some of my best friends were the boys. Jay Green was one of my best friends. Jackson Bond. There was another little boy named Perry. I cannot remember his last name, but I had some other great friends like Michele, and Joelle was just always so sweet. I saw her recently, and her spirit is just exactly the same. So it really just taught me to be a creative person. And for the relationships that were a little more difficult, it taught me to stand firm in who I am.
Right.
And be secure in who I am.
Okay. That's a lot to unpack right there. That's
Yes,
That's
sir.
a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch. Now, because I have my list of, I usually have about 10 to 15 questions for every episode, every person. But then as people are speaking, there's questions that come up that I'm like, hey, hold on. Come on, slow down.
Bring it back, rewind.
Yeah, bring it back. Because, you're talking about the twirlettes and all. I'm almost sure I have a question about the twirlettes. And I might even have a photo. Now, I know El Presidente sent me a couple of pictures that I was supposed to put up. And so as you're talking, I'm going to try to get those into the broadcast so that we can show our viewers kind of a little bit of what you're talking about. So we're going to put a pin in the twirlettes, but you said something, interesting. You said something about your grandmother. I remember Sister Smalley.
Yes.
I remember your aunt, and I do remember your mom. Shout out to your mom.
Yeah.
She was one of my teachers way back in the day.
I thought so.
And so if she was my teacher, was she your teacher as well?
Well, yes, she was my teacher, and also Nancy Sheffy, who also was known as Nancy Sheffy Ross. May she rest in peace.
Absolutely.
She became my godmother, and I kept in touch with her throughout the years. But both of them were my teachers.
Okay.
So my mother would always say, and I'm interrupting your 15 questions. I know I am.
Yeah.
But my mother would always say that I would come home and I would still call her Miss Smith.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so hold on. You're going too fast now because I have a question about that. I remember your grandmother. I remember your aunt and your mom, of course. Super, super beautiful people.
Yes.
And, we share that love for Normandy Church of Christ as well. So let me go ahead. Even though you didn't graduate from NCS, how would you describe the impact being at NCS those early years had on you as a young person? And, as you reflect, how do they kind of help you in your life today?
Well, one of my memories is one of my best friends was Kathy Sylvie. And somewhere I have one of those pictures, where it's like 3 or 4 pictures and it's vertical. And it was just so cute. So my friendship with her, I want to say, taught me about interracial friendships, but it just taught me about friendship because she was one of my favorite friends. I never saw her as black or white or anything like that. Yeah. Also, let's see. the way that NCS shaped me was I was cared for.
Okay.
I remember the foster grandparents, did I say that correctly?
You did.
Would teach us basket weaving. And I learned how to do, I think it's called the Eye of God, where you wrap yarn around to popsicle sticks.
Yep.
And you make a little thing. And I was always getting sick. And it was probably during math time. I hated math. I mean, that thing lasted probably till I was in 6th grade when somebody caught on. But every time I would go to the nurse, man, it was like the VIP treatment. They would take such good care of me. And no matter where I was roaming through the halls of NCS, I was always safe. Nothing ever happened to me, and I never thought anything would. Nothing ever did. So that was one of the things, was the power of having someone else to love you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, those are foundational things. You know, you going back to Kathy Sylvie. Yes, you learned. Now, Kathy Sylvie was a white girl, right? But attending a school in the inner city. And so, yes, I remember Kathy Sylvie. I remember
one of my absolute best friends.
Yes,
I mean, my
I
heart
remember.
just expands thinking about her. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, I don't even remember what we played, what we said, what we did, but you always know the people that love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know the people.
Yeah.
You never forget the people that love you.
Yeah, no, she was super nice, super nice. And that, in fact, that was probably my first introduction into integration, right? Because after leaving Normandy, I went to a public school, and, you know, it was everybody. It was like blacks, whites, Hispanics,
Right.
Asians, you know, just the whole melting pot kind of situation with, you know, being bused from the inner city out to the valley. So, you know, kind of got a small introduction to that by being a friend with Kathy and all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's go ahead. So your connection to NCS runs deep through your family, especially, like you said, your mom, Carolyn Smith, who was a teacher. Now, what was it like having just that family connection on campus? Because you said grandmother, you said auntie, and you said mom, and you just shared, you know, sometimes your mom would get on you because you would go home and call, you know, be like,
Yes.
instead of mom, you're saying Ms. Smith, you know. So just talk about that impact and that dynamic that you have with all your family right there on campus, and just trying to, you know, navigate, you know, both the NCS side and the family side.
Well, growing up as an only child, I was very shy. You might not know that because you were one of my best friends. I had people that I would kind of let loose with, but,
Yeah, I was
for
shy too, so.
Yeah. So we probably fit in like peas in a pod, because I remember you were one of my best friends. But I remember there was a time where my mother and Nancy had a slumber party there at the church. And it was so funny because they were popping popcorn, and they forgot to put the top on the Jiffy popper thing that, you know, pops out and is supposed to have a funnel. And it popped all over the place. Like, I'll never forget that. But growing up as an only child, I didn't have any friends. And I was very shy. So those were opportunities for me to build lasting connections with people, to have, I lived a very sheltered life. My mother was very, very protective of me, and I wasn't really allowed to go out and play or anything like that. My mother is deaf. She's what's called late deafened. So she suffered a gradual hearing loss, and I don't know if she didn't really trust the world out there, but I didn't get to go out and play. So those experiences were my opportunity to connect with other children. And my mom did things that you can't do now. As a teacher, you can't invite, you know, your students over to have a summer party with your child, unfortunately. But I have, you know, some lifelong friends from that. So I just remember watching movies and, you know, just hanging out and being a kid, you know, really enjoying my childhood.
Yeah, because, you know, it was a Christian school, so it wasn't public, you know, and so you had, you had church friends and you had school friends, and a
Yeah.
lot of those school friends were
Your church friends,
So
exactly.
it was, there's that dynamic, right?
Right.
And yes, I remember, I think your mom was my third grade teacher.
I believe you're correct. It was either third or second. I believe you're correct.
Second grade, I had Miss Cease.
Okay. Then it was, yeah.
And I can't remember who my first grade teacher was. I can't remember who. Yeah, I can't remember. But I just remember second and third. I remember Miss Cease, and I remember Miss Smith. So super, super nice. Yeah, those those times are definitely you remember all the good things.
But I remember some of my mother's other teacher friends, like Liz Williams.
Okay.
And her husband Pico. I ended up being their goddaughter.
Okay.
And going over there would be like a vacation. It would be like a break, you know, because at that time they hadn't had their own kids yet.
Yeah.
So they were I was the experimental child, you know what I'm saying? But I just remember having such wonderful times over there, and it was a situation where you could trust that, you know, because my mom did not trust me to go anywhere. And sometimes I'd be like, can I stay over an extra night? And it'd be like these negotiations back and forth, right? Like, are you stealing my daughter?
Right.
But that allowed me just to be free. Had I not had, the opportunity to spend that time with them, I would have been uber sheltered at home.
Absolutely. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to get into a little bit more detail in terms of your friend group, right? So do you remember who were some of the folks? I think you mentioned Jackson Bond, and you said Perry. I want to say Perry's last name was Wilson. That's what I want to say.
I just wish I knew Perry's last name. He was so nice to me.
El Presidente.
El Presidente has spoken.
He said Perry McGee.
I believe you are correct.
He could be.
I believe you are correct.
So who were some of your closest friends at NCS? And here's the thing. Do you still keep in touch with some of those friends? Now, we've had other guests before, and they said, I had, so-and-so and so-and-so. And yes, we still keep in close contact. So do you have any friends that you made at NCS, and are you still in close contact with some of those people today?
Sadly, no. My mother ended up moving to the Valley, and I turned into a Valley girl. And at that time, before then, probably after I left NCS, there wasn't a lot of contact with the same friend group that I had. Because honestly, I don't know if this was your experience as well, James, but after a while, it's just like Normandy is your whole life. You got church and you got school and you're always there, right? Always there. So when that was over, I went to Manhattan Place School, and I was very, very shy. So I didn't have the same setup. However, as a result of, Facebook, I've been able to get in touch with you guys and Joelle, but that's about it. Most of the other, and I did spend a little bit of time with Liz and Pico. That was really, really great. Liz and Pico Williams. That was really, really great to spend time. I'm hoping that I can spend more time with them in the future. But aside from that, no, I haven't had a chance to rebuild those relationships. And it wasn't a sustained knowing over time either.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. You make some friends, and sometimes, you'll hang out with them. And then other times it's like, look, that was a period of my life where we just, shared the classroom and activities, and that's cool too.
Yes.
Right. That's cool too. But also, to your point about, being on campus Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And then for me, like, I live right down the street. And
okay.
Being part of the church, it was like Monday through Friday, we there for school. Saturday was Saturday afternoon activities, and then Sunday was worship. So, I spent a ton of time,
Yep.
a ton of time at Normandy in the school and at the school and the church as well. So super, super nice. All right. So after you attended, because, you mentioned it, you moved to the Valley. So you moved to, I think you said you attended schools like West Valley Charter for Enriched Studies in Pacoima?
No, it was West Valley Center for Enriched Studies.
There you go.
Then I did go to Sherman Oaks. That's where I graduated from,
Okay.
Sherman Oaks Center for Enriched Studies. But in between, I went to, I believe it was Pacoima Christian School.
Okay.
Was that a thing?
It could have been.
I know I'm about to name drop. You ready? Do your air horn, brother. Do your air horn.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm about to, it was Todd and Sean Jackson went to school there.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
I got the air horn, y'all. I got the air horn.
We had Sean on last season. So
Yeah.
that's my dude.
So I went to school with them over there. You probably have to follow up with them. I believe it was Pacoima Christian School. And I was kind of in puberty at that time, and it was very difficult because I don't know if you know, but I was 3 grades ahead of myself. I was very tiny. So when you show that Twirllettes picture, I'm not in there because every picture of me and other people goes like this. Do, 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 do. Because not only was I tiny, I was several years ahead of myself. So that year that I went to Pacoima, and the following year, I went to Sherman Oaks. I held myself back in the 8th grade.
Gotcha.
The girls can be kind of mean in puberty. That's all I can say about that part. So I held myself back. A lot of people don't understand when someone skips or starts school early, you must think about the emotional and the social toll on that individual as they're going through school.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, my mother allowed me to do that, and I still graduated at 16.
That's
I was
what's up.
16 years old when
That's what's up.
in 1987, I was on CSUN's campus at 16 years old.
That's what's up. So, you said a lot because you're correct.
I do be saying a lot, though.
No,
I do be saying a
But
lot.
no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, in all of your saying, my question was, how did those transitions kind of shape who you are today, right? Going from NCS, then moving out to the Valley, and then going to the Valley schools, and then going to, the enriched schools, going to the private schools, and then being early, 3 grades. Now, I've heard maybe 1 or 2, but God dog it, 3 grades. So how did that kind of shape you as a person growing up and just trying to transition and migrate all those different, avenues from different schools to, your body experiencing changes and, trying to make some friends. So just kind of talk us through that if you can.
Okay, well, I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to be real with you. There was some childhood depression happening. Sorry, but I got to drop the mic since you asked. There was a lot of depression. There was a lot of sadness because the friend groups with the girls, I would consistently try to push in, and I was already very shy, and I couldn't quite wrap my head around that. So when I was at Pacoima, I believe it was Todd. Todd is a younger one, right? Yes. Yeah, Todd was a good friend of mine. Like I said, me and picked me up, but in a maybe I could say maybe in a distant kind of way. In other words, we weren't together all the time, but I know that they had my back.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there and I have no one to talk to, then there's Todd or there's Perry or, there's you or someone else. For some reason, there was a lot of what I've grown to know as mobbing. The bullying behavior is called mobbing. And that is when a group of girls, either they physically bully you, which didn't happen, but they gave me the silent treatment and would just stop talking to me. And I've grown to know since then that is the most abusive form of non-physical abuse that you can inflict on a person.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot of depression, a lot of me coming into myself. And there were some times that Nancy So bringing it back full circle, when I was a teenager, Nancy really did have to pull me out of a lot of things. I remember there was a time I was about 15 or 16, and one of my friends had invited me to a sleepover, and my mother didn't want me to go because the church that her dad was pastor of wasn't the Church of Christ. So my mama didn't want me to go. Remember, she all she needed is a little bit of a reason. She just needed a tiny reason.
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a break off of a reason, right? Yeah. So she didn't want me to go, and Nancy really, really convinced her, look, she is 16 years old. Yeah. We need to let her break out and have a little bit of fun. And then I remember when I had my sweet 16 birthday party, Nancy chaperoned it and made sure that I had all the music and all the fun and everything. So she was more than a godmother. She was a fairy godmother, right? Because she was there for some pivotal times in my life. Yeah. But honestly, to be real with you, most of it was marked by childhood depression, which I am an advocate for the awareness of. People don't understand that children can have suicidal ideation at very young ages. Absolutely. They can have depression at very young ages. And in our community, a lot of times it's like, what you got to be sad about, boy? You got food on the table, everything you want, I get it for you. What's the problem? Yeah. It's bigger than that. Absolutely. It's so much bigger than that. So I just have to be honest with you about that. And there are still, I don't know a better word than blotches. There are still blotches of depression and anxiety that I have to deal with. Yes. I know you my brother, but I'm going through the change, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going through the change. And with the change, there's a lot of conflicted emotions, yes. A lot of brain fog, a lot of grieving the fact that you can't remember and do things the way that you used to. Although I do a lot. I feel like I do a lot. So yeah, it was rough. Okay. It was rough just being outed and ousted and being alone a lot. I was alone a lot.
Got you. Okay, so first of all, it takes a real person to be vulnerable and share kind of those aspects of your story. So we appreciate you being vulnerable and just kind of sharing that information.
Thank you, sir.
But now here, because I'm sure everything wasn't all bad, and you mentioned Nancy as being your fairy godmother.
Yes.
Were there other mentors in your life that kind of helped shape who you are, especially during that time as you're going through, some of those difficulties? Was there someone, maybe a teacher at NCS, or, you mentioned Nancy. Was there anyone else like her that kind of helped you through this period of your life?
No, but there was in the Church of Christ. So there was George Pendergrass. He was very, very helpful. With kind of helping me see things as a teenager. And then there was Dwayne Monroe, who was pastor at Reseda.
Yeah, Doc.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Over the years, I've grown very close to Ann Stewart, who attended NCS, and her son was... why am I drawing a blank? See, it's the pause. Anyways, so
her son was Derek.
Derek, that's what I thought. Yes. I don't know why I didn't want to say it. Derek Stewart. Yeah. So that was very tragic, everything that happened with him. I'm trying to think. No. When we moved to the Valley, it was very difficult. And I remember after I met with Liz and Pico recently, it was a tiny reunion with them and my mom and me. And Liz was really fussing at my mom, like, you moved to the Valley and you didn't even tell us where you went. We didn't know where you went. So that was pretty much my world. It was a very small, compact world. I do remember Sister Pitts, but that was when I was a little girl. But that pivotal time, no, there weren't. Okay, there weren't a lot.
Listen, it's all good. It's all good. But again, we appreciate you sharing. Because we all grow up. We all go through some things, and so having a mentor or someone to guide you through some of those dark times, difficult times, is wonderful. And you identified someone. You identified Nancy as being your fairy godmother,
Yes,
not just
sir.
the godmother, but the fairy godmother.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's all good. It helps to have someone like that in your life.
Well, may I say something right
Absolutely.
here?
Right
I would
here.
like to say that if anybody out there from NCS, the Church of Christ, or if you just happen to see this, needs that type of person, you need that type of person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can be that person to you, maybe James or somebody else that you know. But when you get in those pockets of depression, it is actually very serious.
Absolutely.
It's not a thing to joke around with. And sometimes your world gets so dark, you don't know that who is there for you. So it's important to push into people's lives sometimes. Don't just say, hey, how you doing? And maybe sometimes say, no, really, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You know I'm here for you, right? And so I feel like I'm what's known as a wounded warrior. You know, I have all of that pain and I repurpose it. So I wrote my book, Taming the Beast of Anxiety, which is a self-help book.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey.
I did it again.
And see, I'm trying to remember. I got to look in my notes and see if I have. So we're gonna put a pin in that. Hold
We're
on.
going to put a pin. Okay, pin.
I'm gonna put a pin.
Pin.
You just going, boy.
You need, I know. It's a thing.
I got
It's a
you.
thing. It's
I
a
got
thing.
you. I got you. Okay, don't worry. We're gonna come back to it. But
Okay.
no, again, appreciate it. Yes, you got to have somebody to walk you through those times because you need somebody. And so I'm a little bit too old to be, but no, I'm I got a listening ear.
Yes.
Sometimes I can I'll take off the hat and put on a different hat and be like, oh, okay. And then if you need me to respond, I'll be like, okay, I'll put on a different hat.
Yeah,
and I'll
because
respond.
sometimes people just need you to listen. And
Yeah,
if that's
yeah.
what you need to say that. Look, dog, I just need you to listen. I don't need you to
Just
say
hear me out.
nothing. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. And then sometimes you got to get it out. I did that twice today. I'm like, look, I don't even know. I can't even think right now.
Yeah.
Can I talk this out? And by the end, I gave myself my own answers.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's continue on with the conversation. So I think I want to talk about you being creative, right? You said you're creative, and I remember some of those arts and crafts we did, right? And for the long time, I like learning how to make those lanyards where you're with the little plastic lanyard and you kind of fold them, make the loop, and you got to do the little loop, and you pull them. You got pull. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I know what you're saying,
So
brother.
that one, and then I remember one of the foster grandparents, they did or showed us how to use macrame to make the little pot holders.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right?
sir. I did that too.
Yeah. So that was
I did that
those
too.
were. I remember going down to Michael's, or my mom going, or me going with my mom to Michael's to get, the macrame and the beads to go
Yes.
with it. It was just like
Yes.
really, really cool.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about being creative, because you mentioned, and I always joke, sometimes be like, hey, athletes, what did you take? Did you take a underwater basket weaving class? And then, you'd be joking, because, anyway. But you actually took like a basket weaving and arts and crafts and did fashion shows. What kind of drew you to the arts? I mean, how did you end up, getting into the arts while you were at NCS? Was there someone who was, again, kind of pivotal in pushing you in that direction? Was it just something innate that you figured, I was like, oh, I kind of like doing this?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it was my mama. I got it from my mama. I'm going to just be honest with you. I got it from my mama. She had me in dance classes at B.B. Carpenter's School of Dance, which I've looked up and I can't find anywhere. I also took drama classes there, and her daughter, Barbara, taught me about diction and pausing between words and cadence and how to speak. So all of that developed me as the podcasting queen that I am.
Don't look at you.
I'm gonna look at you now. Look at you. So there was that. My mother, I would say, was probably a show producer. And that's what I feel like I am now, whether it's on Instagram or whether I'm hosting an event of my own or emceeing like my brother got me into. I have a thought process of creation. And So I'm what's known as a creative. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a creative.
Okay.
And that gets kind of challenging because the business side, that's not so much fun. However, I am an artist. I'm an author. I'm a public speaker. I during the pandemic, I was producing so many different shows on Instagram that I had to realize I got it from my mama, right? Like I'm a show producer. These aren't just things I'm doing. Hey, I heard it. I got the air horn, y'all. So it's not just.
I did the air horn for your mom.
Oh, okay. From my mama. I got it from my mama. Okay. So yeah, she deserves the air horn. I think that especially being deaf and consistently losing her hearing year after year. I remember she rented stages or somehow got stages at Pepperdine and also at West Valley College. Is that the name of it? No, West something college, one of the local junior colleges. We did fashion shows there. That was where she put on The Sound of Music there. And not only was I cast in these things, but even after she left NCS, all them dance classes paid off because I was always the choreographer for her performances. And so it was just a world where there's nothing small. Everything is big and expansive.
Right.
Then, all of that led me to working, 10 years as a visual and performing arts specialist in Rialto.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, sorry. I do be doing that. You need another sound for when you need a Speedy Gonzalez sound for when I'm going too fast. I do be doing that though. I do be.
Hey, listen. No, I got you. Trust me. I got you. I mean, I'm looking at questions 11, 12, and 13. I got you. Hold on. Slow down.
Slow down.
I got you. Okay. So we're going to get to that. Now, because I still want to talk about a little bit of your experience with the Twirllettes and the Spinnerets.
We were just the Twirllettes. The Twirllettes were red and white.
Can you tell me what that was and what it meant to you, both as a student and just reflecting on how that impacted your life?
Well, the Twirllettes gave me an opportunity to make some friends. And I just remember learning to twirl the baton, which I still can't understand how my mama did all of this stuff. Like, where did you discover how to twirl a baton and teach other people to do that? And that's the kind of stuff I do. I'm like, oh, well, today we're going to learn the Cupid shuffle. You don't even know your left from your right, students, but today this is what we're going to do, Today. Yeah, today. You're like right now, today, this is what we're going to do, because that's what it seemed like my mother always did. So just, learning how to twirl a baton and then toss it up in the air and catch it. That was invigorating.
Yeah, it does. You got to be talented.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be skillful to catch the baton that's swirling up around. And sometimes folks catching it behind the back. I'm like, you know what?
I did that too.
It
was just like, it was almost
y'all
like
got
God knew the daughter to give to her, right?
Yeah.
All of her seemingly harebrained and zany ideas, they all came to fruition. Whatever she wanted to do, somehow I pulled it off. And then she had all of these other people pull it off too, which, like I said, is just so amazing if you're a person that can't hear. How do you do that? How do you make sure people are on the beat,
Okay. Let me see. Talked about
your sound is going down a little bit. I don't know if this. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So you kind of talked about your mom a little bit in terms of her creative vision, and I'm sure her influence helped shape who you are and your love for the performing arts. Is this correct?
This is completely correct.
Yeah. No, Miss Smith. Hey, shout out to Miss Smith. One of my favorite teachers over there at NCS. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into the calling and your career. Okay,
Yes.
So here we go. We talking about the career, the career path. Today, you're a visual performing arts specialist at the elementary level.
That's correct.
What inspired you to pursue a career in the arts and in education?
Okay, in education, such an interesting story. So I wanted to be an actress, but with all that is transpiring currently, let me say, sometimes God keeps you from something that you think is your path that could be your path to hell. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
This is true.
It would have been, and I was very gullible. I was very naive. It would not have been a good look for me. And I tried so hard to get into the acting industry. So teaching was something that I fell back on, and I just never fell back up. And my mother being a teacher, my grandmother being an educator, it came natural to me.
Right.
But I was always the one that was picked to do the performances. And if I wasn't picked, trust me, I made myself known. And there would be these drastic, amazing performances just like I grew up with. That was like my whole life, right? So I worked in Linwood as a teacher. And I remember one time I put together yoga and dance, and I made the yoga a dance for the students. And one year we put on the Lion King, and my youngest son was a baby at the time, and he was Simba. It was the most hilarious thing ever. But I was always doing something with these big, huge props, and I always had the space to do it because, come on, who else want to do that? Don't nobody want to do that.
Right.
So I always had this open canvas to do whatever I wanted to do. Then I just started thinking, is there a job out there for this? Because I've only taught at the elementary level. And so I was like, is there a job I could do where I can just teach the arts? And sometimes holding hand with the Holy Spirit, you manifest things for yourself.
Absolutely.
I started searching on EdJoin, arts teacher something.
Hold on. So those of you who don't know, EdJoin is like the Indeed of online resources where teachers can go. If you're in education, you go and you look for a job. So if a school is looking for an arts teacher, they'll put it on EdJoin. If they're looking for a PE teacher, they'll put it on EdJoin. So a lot of school districts use EdJoin to look for folks within the education. So there you go.
That's true, but it's also other people too. They need bus drivers, they need paraprofessionals, they're called. They used to call them teachers' aides. You can find so many different jobs there. So you could go to edjoin.org if you're interested. But
shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
We just plug EdJoin.
I know. Give us a few coins. Give us some coins, y'all.
Drop some coins. There
Come
you go.
on, y'all EdJoin people. But anyway, I actually just, holding hand with the Holy Spirit, just decided to search one day. Arts elementary or dance teacher elementary. And to my surprise, there were so many of them there. So when I worked in Rialto, I was a visual and performing arts specialist. And I taught music, drama, and visual art. That particular team didn't want to touch dance because you can't touch this. I would be intimidated too. But I ended up teaching tap dance after school. In that district. Then I needed to switch things up, and I'm currently in Moreno Valley at the elementary school level, and I just simply teach dance. And there's so much learning loss from COVID that happened. A lot of times I just have to teach the difference between left and right, and I do it in a fun way. There's songs that we play and have the students up and moving. And like I said, I teach the Cupid Shuffle, and I teach them a little bit of math, like quarter turns and things like that. So, and then sometimes they teach me things. Like there was a SpongeBob movie recently, and they taught me this song, Big Guy, Big Guy, Big Guy, Big Guy, Big Guy, SpongeBob, Big Guy, pants okay. I mean, I was like, I got to learn because I got to keep up with them. So then that way, hey, now was that one for me? Was that one?
That was for you because of SpongeBob.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, then that's for SpongeBob. I'm still waiting for my own. Okay.
I got you.
Okay. So it's a reciprocal learning environment, which is what I want to create. Because if I know what they want to know, then I can figure out what it is that I need to teach them.
So how do you bring with everything that's going on in education, COVID loss and everything? How do you bring creativity to your students? Especially in a time where the arts programs aren't really that prioritized. So what do you do?
Like I said, I try to pull in some math and some language arts because there needs to be some value there. I teach my students the difference between performers and audiences. And what comes into play with that also has been a little bit of what is called in the field career technical education, which you don't get until high school. I teach my students about being a show producer. I teach them about being an MC. I give them a chance to MC. And I teach them that if you're in the audience, it's fine if you're not ready to perform yet, which is just the floor of our classroom. And, I don't get them out on a stage. In my particular work environment, I can't quite do that. I have them for 12 weeks and it's in a classroom. So the floor of our room is the stage. But if you're not performing, you need to give your full effort and energy to the people that are. They need your energy. They need your support. So just trying to, like I said, figure out what it is that they know, what is it that they like, and then wrapping around with that, what it is that they need to learn. There are a lot of people nowadays that go to a performance, they don't know to clap.
Yeah.
And I don't teach them clap. I teach applause. The word is applause. You need to give applause at the end. So a lot of people say your class is very structured, and that is Carolyn Smith all the way, let me tell you.
Absolutely. And so here, not to cut you off, but to cut you off because
I'm used to it by now.
I know, right? So my question is, do you see pieces of your younger self, maybe that student from NCS, in your work that you're doing right now?
Why are you trying to get me up here in front of the people and make me cry? I ain't crying in front of these people. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I tell my students that the only time I will get angry is if they're bullying one another. And a lot of that comes from the childhood depression that I explained to you, where there was the energy of other people, like Jay Green or Todd. There was the energy of other people that was there to save me. But it's not going to happen on my watch. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. That's not going to be okay. And as a result, I work with the special needs classes. They're called SDC classes. And one of my students was nonverbal. And he had another student that I'll just call him the protector, because everything the little boy did, his other friend would do with him. And one day, the nonverbal student wanted to perform. And we were all surprised. This is probably by week 11. I only have them for 12 weeks. And then I have to switch to other schools. So by week 11, he decided that he wanted to perform, and he told his protector that was what he wanted to do. So the protector came up there, and man, I tell you, to see that little boy dancing, and then there was this one part where he sang, the name of the song is Golden, and he sang Golden, and I said, I'm doing God's work. Right now, this is God's work here. Yeah. And then that following week, which was our last week, it was the end of the trimester, his protector performed Gummy Bear by himself. And when you know that judgment is absent and you are surrounded by the village and your tribe, the people that love you, you are willing to take chances and you are willing to do things you didn't even know you could do. Yeah,
that's a super awesome story right there. Gummy Bear, I know that song.
Yeah, we be turning it up in there. We be playing peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter.
Listen, from my time, I don't know, I guess it was 13 to 14 years, 12, 13 years as an early childhood special educator, Gummy Bear had its run in my classroom. So I know Gummy Bear. Okay, super awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about reflecting and impact and legacy before we wrap up everything. Looking back, how did your early NCS experiences help shape you as an educator and help you become the creative that you are today?
In terms of being an educator, one thing that I'm not used to right now is the push for curricula and textbooks. Everything that happened at NCS, we had that orange book. Do you remember that orange book, brother? What was that book? You know the book. Y'all know the book. There was the orange book, but then there was the power of those teachers.
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, we had the curriculum, and for some reason, I just remember Scott Forsman on some of the books, and
it wasn't Scott. It was typed up. It was a typed up book.
We had some of those early or later Dick and Jane kind of books,
but it had a Christian focus to it. I do remember that.
Yeah.
They were like. It was something that they had gotten copied, because I remember we would pass them out and collect them or whatever. But it was the drive of all of those teachers, Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. Bond, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Ross, Mrs. Sheffy. All of these, it was their creative, Mrs. Williams, it was their creative drive that brought education together. So sometimes I feel shackled when, especially knowing how much is spent on these textbooks. The thing that I love about my particular position is I build my own curricula. Yeah. And as a highly qualified educator, that's what I should be expected to do. And I know a lot of teachers don't like doing that, but that's where my joy is. Now, I didn't answer one of your questions. You asked something else as well. Or did I answer it?
No. Basically, it talks about, shaping your experiences, your early experiences at NCS. How did they shape you becoming an educator and the creative that you are today? So you kind of answered it a little bit. You're good. You're good. All right, I got another one for you. What does it mean to you now to be still connected to the NCS community?
Well, it definitely means a lot, that red and white, and like you just see those people that, in my particular case, like I said, it hasn't been a continuum, but it does bring back memories. Like I saw Coretta recently at the reunion, and we were always in close proximity, we grew up in very close proximity. So it was nice to see her and hug her and remember, like back in the day, right?
Back in the day.
It's just nice to have NCS as a touchstone. And I will tell you, and I'll send you the Instagram video if you want. I know that I was walking through the halls of NCS, and I put that on my Instagram account. And it was just jarring so many different memories. Like I said, me going to the nurse, the times I actually was sick, and the times that I was
You're faking it.
You just had to say faking it. I was trying to find a fancy bougie word, but I was faking it. And in any case, I was met with so much love. Even when they knew I was faking it, I was met with so much love there. So just rounding the corner and remembering, I remember, and I was so tiny. I remember when I have to look up half the time. People didn't know I was there. I'd have to get on my tippy toes. And just remembering, some of the families, like the Pitts family and the Harris family. That I left that one out. I'm so sorry, but Danielle and Janisha and Janelle, they were like my sisters. They were like my little sisters. Right. And being an only child, I didn't have any opportunity like that. I knew Janelle and Janisha since they were tiny babies. So it was a really miraculous opportunity to bond with so many different people.
Got you. Now, if you could go back and talk to your younger self during your NCS days, what advice would you give your younger self? Now,
first, I'm going to talk to the people. This brother trying to make me cry, and I'm not having it. I'm not having it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding it. I would tell my younger self, honestly, I would say, learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Everything's not about you. Everything is not an attack against you. Everything is not taking you under. There's sunshine and there's beauty. And amongst all of that, there is growth. So are you going to give yourself a chance to grow? Because you're so beautiful. You're beautiful inside and you're beautiful outside. And if the world doesn't see that, then that's the world's problem. But guess what? God gave you the gift and the opportunity to do. He gave you the gift and opportunity to be exactly who you were knit in your mother's womb to be. And what could be more miraculous than that?
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yes.
If NCS had a show right now, what would Michelee, Elyse, what would you bring to the stage right now?
Boom, boom, pow. A lot. It's just a lot. That's why my brother over there told me to MC, because that thing that I had to MC my first rodeo with MCing, it was everything went wrong that could go wrong, and I fielded it all. So it's just being able to pivot. How about that?
Okay.
Being very entertaining, not being able to stop talking. That comes in handy. Because, you got technical glitches and you need somebody to carry on, right?
Absolutely.
You need somebody to keep it going. Yeah. And just a person with a heart that people want to talk to. I'm very transparent. I'm very authentic. I don't judge anyone, and I love everyone.
Okay. Got another question for you as we begin to wrap up. When you hear the phrase, best in the West, what does that mean to you personally?
Okay, best in the West.
Yeah, because this is, after all, this is right above you, NCS, the Best in the West podcast.
I would say the best in the West is the freedom to be who God created you to be. Yep.
Oh, man.
The freedom, and God will give you the time, the space, and the opportunity. There are times where it feels like everything is against you, and God, can I just get in the right place? The job I have now is the dream job I've always wanted. But what I sometimes forget is when I was teaching dance out on the yard, I had a whole nother teacher that would give me her class too. When I'd be teaching dance out on the yard at one of the elementary schools I first taught at,
Right.
that was the time, space, and opportunity. It didn't look the way I wanted it to, but without all of those chances and those performances that I've done throughout the years, I wouldn't be where I am now. So that is the best in the West. Just and with that, it's required to be still and know. You have to be still to know that God is there with you. You have to be still and know that what you're dealing with is God, and you're co-creating with God. You're building a dream with God. God has not abandoned you. You're doing this together. And what could be more miraculous than that? That is the best in the West.
Man.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. She gonna drop the mic.
There you go. There you go. We got your own sound effect right there.
It was my own, and that one was all mine. I didn't have to share it with my mama or SpongeBob. Man. That was great.
Listen, that song though, I like that song. The song SpongeBob.
Oh my gosh. And it's so funny because when I
catchy.
teach the difference between choreography and freestyle, we get to do both in that song. Yeah. So I'll be like, you probably don't know what choreography is, but it's this one. Do you know this song? Big Guy. And then if I have a new class, they all start screaming, oh, I know that. I know that. And then we just all do it together. Yeah. And then when there's that lull, the other 8 count, then you guys got to figure out what you're going to do. So I teach that as well to my students, the difference between choreography and freestyle.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me see. What was your favorite, just going back, what was your favorite hot dog?
Didn't even stop talking about hot dogs.
You remember Hot Dog Friday?
I'm so glad you talked about hot dogs, because I had meant to talk about hot dogs.
There you go. What was your favorite?
Them hot dogs, how did they always end up being the best hot dogs?
Yeah, listen.
Them Costco hot dogs don't match up. Their Wiener Schnitzel don't match up. I'm about to drop a mic. I'm about to drop a mic for both of my brothers. Do y'all remember Pup and Taco?
I remember Papa Taco, yeah.
They ain't even as good as them ones. Those hot dogs were so good. And it's funny that you ask me, because I haven't liked mustard for years. I think after I had my kids, I started putting can I get a mustard? Why don't you just stop it? Just stop it. But anyway, I think I ate mustard on my hot dogs then because they were just so good. I think I would put mustard on them, if I remember correctly. That is crazy. And they would boil them in a big old pot. Do you remember? It wasn't no microwaves when we grew up. We look young. I know we do. It don't crack. Can I say black don't crack?
You
Can
just
I say
said
that?
it.
Black don't crack. We look very young. But we didn't have no microwaves back then. Everybody made what they made for us with love.
Yeah. No, my favorite was the, I think I had ketchup, mustard, and relish on mine.
Did they put sauerkraut on it? Or was that my mama thing?
I don't remember sauerkraut.
My mama did sauerkraut. That was her. That was a Carolyn Smith thing.
That's I think they just stuck to the regular threes, the basics.
The trifecta.
Ketchup, mustard. You know, they didn't even do mayonnaise. They didn't do onions.
You right.
They just did a 3.
You right.
Or you could have it plain.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, those hot dog days were super.
And
nice.
I also remember when I would take a lunch. Do you remember the steel lunch pails?
Of course.
My mother had a steel lunch pail for me.
Yeah. I remember all those were good times.
Good times.
And we hold NCS deep down in our heart, and it's a spot, it's a place that no one. It's hard to kind of duplicate that experience,
right?
Because again, it was early, mid to late 70s and 80s, and it was just a prime time to live. It was just a good time.
It really was. And there were some amazing things that were taking place, like John Green being the principal.
Yeah.
And you have got all of these women, these black women as teachers and educators that then made that their profession in a world that just was not seeing them. Nancy went on and she was administrative all the way. She knew the superintendent, but she was always a principal somewhere for years.
Yeah.
And my mother, just continued teaching even as her hearing was declining. She never taught sign language classes or deaf classes. She always taught hearing children.
Yeah, shout out to all those folks. NCS way back in the day, foster grandparents, teachers, admin, parents, friends, all that kind of good stuff. A lot of things were happening at NCS, and man, we just wish that we had a similar situation for a lot of our families in our neighborhoods and churches right now, that they can experience such love and care and dedication to kids and also to education. So appreciate it. The only thing we didn't do tonight was throw up some of those pictures. Maybe we'll have El Presidente throw some of the pictures up on the social media platform. So we've been going at it for about an hour and 7 minutes. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man.
Well, wait, I got a quick question.
Go
just
for
to
it.
throw a wrench in all your plans.
Absolutely.
If he's El Presidente, then who are you?
I'm the producer.
Oh, okay. That's so boring. You need an El Producer.
No. See, I like
He the vice president?
I like to stay behind the scenes a little bit.
I hear you on that.
So,
but El Presidente it's got some flair to it. It's got a little bit of spice on it. He like, you better put some respect on my name.
Listen.
The producer, I'm sorry, brother. Come on, we got to do something else.
Listen, who's doing all the work?
Okay.
There you go. There you go. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
There you go.
I hear you.
Yeah, I'm producing.
Much respect. Much respect.
And he wouldn't be El Presidente if I didn't give him the name El Presidente.
True.
So,
True.
El Presidente just sounds, it sounds kind of official. Now, he is the president of the NCS alumni.
Yes, he is.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
but,
he is.
So hence El Presidente. But, he wouldn't be ain't nobody calling him El Presidente except for me.
I'm going to call him El Presidente from now on.
Absolutely. Erwin's in here. He says, 80 to 86 was an amazing time for me. He said it's his foundation. So let me go ahead and prop that up on here. And I appreciate you, Erwin, for hanging out, man. Erwin is usually on it every time we go live. And so I appreciate you hopping in the comments. And one thing about Erwin, I always use his technical advice. And so he didn't say that we had any echo tonight. So I'm glad that everything worked out fine tonight. And, so, yeah, super, super nice, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you Michelee, Elyse,
Yes.
for joining us tonight. If you want people to get in contact with you or to join some of your social media, just to kind of follow you, where can people find you?
You can find me across social media. My favorite is Instagram, but the name spelling is Michelee, and then Elyse. There aren't too many of those in the world, so it should be pretty easy to find. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Instagram. I've been working on my YouTube. I need to get it as good as your outfit you got going on here. So also LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Where else? What else is there? I'm leaving something out. Facebook, of course.
Of course.
So just search my name. Actually, if you search my name in Google, then you can find all the other stuff, because I've been doing stuff for a while.
Okay, absolutely. Well, what I just did is I just put in the chat just your name. That you just, I think I typed it up. Okay.
Did you get the 2 E's? Because
I got the 2 E's.
Okay, you got to get the 2 E's.
It's like I don't know. Maybe I added an extra E. I think I put 3 E's. Is it 3 E's?
Well, when you put it all together, it is 3
Okay,
E's.
there you go.
So especially on Instagram, it's 3 E's
Yep.
in the middle because of
There
the
you go.
Elyse. Yeah.
There you go. So I did it correctly. I know how to follow instructions sometimes.
Yes.
So there she is. You can find her. Hey, we really appreciate you coming out.
Of course,
tonight,
anytime.
being a part of the conversation as we reminisce and walk down the halls of Normandy Christian School. So do me a favor. I'm going to close up the show. Just hang out in the green room. Hey, Erwin, she's going to hang out in the green room. Hang out in the green room for me, and I'll close up the show, and then we can, since we in person, we can kind of take a couple of snaps and put them on IG. And,
Looking forward to it.
So appreciate you being on here.
Of course.
Man, best wishes to you
Thank
as
you
you
so much.
continue to lead a life inspired by all of your experiences at NTS and
Yes.
beyond. So
Yes.
appreciate you tonight.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. So there we are. Guys. We are done for tonight. And, we appreciate Michelee for hopping on. Michelee, Elyse for hopping on tonight. And we have another wonderful episode that is in the books, episode number 2. We start off the year with episode number 1 with Brian Davis. And, hey, we're just doing our thing. I'm not too sure who our next guest will be in April, but I'm sure El Presidente will find somebody to join us, and we'll come back and do what is necessary to highlight all of the wonderful things that NCS has done for us, and as we continue to reflect and live in the shadow of what we experienced back at Normandy Christian School. Other than that, I am Mr. Riley. I'm coming to you live. Oh, I forgot. See, normally El Presidente, he's like, hey, if you want to close out the show. So here, shout out to, let me go ahead and put the air horn. Shout out to Brandy. El Presidente told me that today she received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So that is super nice. Brandy was a student for some time at NCS, and so super, super nice for her to receive that recognition for her and the rest of her family. All right. Other than that, I am closing up, Erwin. Yes, that green room is fancy. It is dope. Other than that, we'll catch you guys. Thank you for watching. This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. You can find us on all the social stuff. So we're going to close up the show. Thank you and good night. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace out, y'all.